CTV News with Jack Morse.
Canada Day weekend sets the tone for the summer. So if this summer is strong, we know the demand is there. Maybe people can't even get in this weekend, then they think, you know what, we got to get there next weekend.
A little rain in the forecast today and tomorrow hasn't dampened any spirits heading north for the weekend. Thanks for joining us. It's the first big weekend of summer all across our region and beyond. People are getting ready to head out for some fun in the sun. Well, CTV's Rob Cooper spoke with a few of those people today. He joins us now live. Rob.
All signs point to cottage country. With kids now done class, the summer season can get started.
A little bit of the summer vacation. Kids got out of school yesterday, and so starting out, we're going to be joined by some more family tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be great.
We're going to Huntsville. We have a cottage on Penn Lake. My husband's over there in the car waiting for me, so we're just going for a nice weekend, and we're going to have some nice weather.
The beach will be a big destination for many this weekend. In Barrie, lifeguards officially go on duty at Centennial, Tyndale, and Johnson's beaches starting tomorrow. Today, they were running through rescue scenarios.
The message is to stay vigilant, keep your kids nice and close. We want to make sure that everybody's having a safe and enjoyable summer.
Plenty of people will be heading to local campgrounds. Beautiful weather and the outdoors, the perfect call for Alex Ridak.
Just a relaxing adventure for us. We enjoy our cycling and that stuff, and this is a mecca for cycling here, especially in the Georgian Bay Area.
Camping to me is, first of all, economical. It gets you out into the good weather.
With the value of the Canadian dollar and the price of gas, many people are looking to stay closer to home.
Our travel trade bookings, so those are international bookings, are pacing 34% compared to 2025 and 40% compared to 2024. So we know the international market is keen to get to Muskoka as well, with our top source market this year, the United States, followed by Germany.
Now, again, Muskoka Tourism says Canada Day typically sets the tone for the entire summer. It also says hotels and resorts are reporting impressive bookings for the summer ahead. And of course, Jack, only great weather can help with that. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Rob Cooper. Let's go back to you in the newsroom.
Now, cottagers weren't the only ones heading north this Canada Day long weekend. So was this black cow spotted this afternoon strolling along the shoulder of Highway 400 just north of 6th Line. Traffic at an utter standstill, but moving now. Officers wrangled the cow off the highway. It was last seen headed toward Innisfil. No injuries have been reported for the people or any animal. It's still unclear exactly where this cow came from. It was a day of mixed emotions as thousands of students across our region said their goodbyes to teachers and classmates. Another school year comes to a close. At Our Lady of Grace Catholic School in Angus, they kicked off summer vacation with a unique twist.
So excited. We're all thrilled. We're so happy. We had a great year at OLG, and our kids are thrilled to be gone, and we're thrilled to have a break. We need it. They can't wait. They're thrilled to go to camp and go up to their cottages, and we had a wonderful day here of celebrations, and everybody is just feeling great today. It was a wonderful last day.
Celebrations and a few tears shed at school this afternoon. The summer break is getting an extra stretch this year. The Labor Day falling on September 7th. Students won't head back to class until the 8th, giving them full 10 weeks off. Now, everyone's looking forward to the summer, but we got to know about that summer weather. KC, how's it looking out there?
I'm still 10 weeks off. Some of us had to do summer school on a regular basis. Let's talk about, we still 10 weeks off. That's kind of nice. Some of us only had a few weeks off. But as far as summer goes, we've heard a few rumbles of thunder. System making its way towards us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a first look at the forecast. And I'm going to let you know right now, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in the western part of our viewing area right along Lake Huron, making its way towards us. We're looking at winds to 90 km. Do you hear that? Yeah, toonie-sized hail and lots of intense rainfall. First look at the forecast brought to you by the graveldrivewayguide.com, your local gravel driveway expert. 18 degrees, Jack. That's what we're looking at right now. 33 Beacon Road, beautiful Barrie. Winds out of the southeast. You can hear that rumble in the background. 13 kilometers an hour. The gusts as high. Well, they're going up as Environment Canada as high as 90K in some instances. Okay, let's hope it's not that high. This is a look at the temperature outside your door. 14 degrees right now. That is out around the area of Mount Forest. That is an area where we're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning right now, making its way towards us. We're looking at 18 degrees in Barrie, Aurelia. Looks like 21 up in Gravenhurst and 20 degrees in Parry Sound. A quick look, if you will. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the system making its way towards us over the last little while. And yes, there are moments of intense rain and thunder activity and possible lightning as well. So we're going to keep our eyes to certain eyes to the skies and listen and see what we hear, and also paying very close attention to Environment Canada. Full forecast coming up in a few minutes' time. Back inside Jack.
All right, thank you, Casey. We'll be looking forward to that. Emergency crews spent the morning battling a massive fire that lit up the sky in South Barrie. It happened around 4 o'clock on Lockhart Road between Yonge Street and 20th Side Road. Officials say the fire tore through an abandoned two-story home, fully engulfed when crews arrived. At least 4 units, including tankers, responded to the fiery scene. No injuries have been reported. Barrie police say the cause is under investigation. More details being released today after a couple was found dead in Barrie's North End over the weekend. Investigators say the bodies of a 45-year-old man and 44-year-old woman were discovered in a Peregrine Road home Saturday. Police now say it was a case of intimate partner violence. The woman's death ruled a homicide. Investigators say the man died from what they believe is a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police say there are no outstanding suspects. No charges are expected. A Barrie man has been arrested after a gun went off inside a North Barrie business. Police were called to a fast food restaurant Tuesday after a customer told them they heard a loud pop, and a young man apologized for a BB gun going off. Officers found and detained the suspect with a short .22 caliber rifle. Police say they seized a shell casing, a knife, cash, a small amount of suspected cocaine. The 20-year-old was charged with 7 weapon-related counts. No injuries have been reported. 2 people were sent to hospital after a serious crash on Highway 400 in Georgian Bay Township. It happened just before 11 last night in the southbound lanes near Hidden Glen Road. 2 people airlifted to a Toronto trauma center with life-threatening injuries. A stretch of highway shut down for several hours south of Muskoka Road 38. OPP say they're still trying to piece together what happened, and if you have footage of the crash or you saw it, you should come forward. Another person is fighting for their life after a pickup truck rolled over in Tiny Township. Police were called to Concession 17 at Cedar Point Road just before 9 yesterday morning. When crews arrived, they found one person trapped under a truck. They pulled them out and airlifted that person to a trauma center with serious injuries. Second person was taken to a Midland hospital with unknown injuries. Now to the case of a Brampton man accused of being part of an armed carjacking in Innisfil against a senior 4 years ago. CTV's Mike Artisalides reports on the plea and sentence.
Navjot Singh has pleaded guilty to being in possession of a stolen car and was handed a conditional discharge. Singh, who was set to stand trial before a jury in April of next year, accepted responsibility for his actions May 16, 2022, when the court heard his co-accused Arshdeep Gill carjacked a then 77-year-old woman at knife point before Singh jumped in the car and the two made their way to Brampton, where the stolen Subaru they were in was remotely disabled. Singh and Gill were arrested, with Singh immediately telling police what had happened, saying he was remorseful as he cried to investigators. The Crown confirmed Arshdeep Gill has since fled the country after he failed to show up for the start of his preliminary hearing in November. It's believed he returned to India after resolving his separate charges in Hamilton last year. Justice Michelle First accepted the joint submission and agreed statement of facts presented to the court by the Crown and defense that stated Gill was the main player in the violent carjacking when he ripped the woman's keys away and shoved her to the ground along Innisfil Beach Road. Singh, the court heard, studied tourism at Mohawk College and became a truck driver, but his life unraveled because of an addiction to heroin that quickly led him to a life of crime. Justice First, in sentencing the 27-year-old from Brampton, said Singh made the unfortunate choice to get in the stolen vehicle that day, but called the proposed sentence proportional due to triable issues and mitigating circumstances raised by the defense that included lost disclosure. Singh was sentenced to 6 months less a day with probation for 18 months. He is not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Singh remains in custody facing other charges. He is scheduled to return to a Milton courtroom next week. Those allegations against him have not been tested in court. Mike Arsledy, CTV News, Barrie.
Police say a senior was robbed in broad daylight outside her Barrie home this week. The 77-year-old woman approached by a vehicle on Somerset Drive Tuesday afternoon. While speaking with a female passenger, her jewelry was reportedly stolen. Police say there's no injuries, but that investigation's ongoing. Dozens of OPP officers injured and on leave are challenging a new way their benefits are determined. They say they're losing out on a lucrative tax refund. Meanwhile, the service says it's simply following an agreement with the members. CTV's John Woodward has the details.
There was many times where I would call crying on the phone, so it was difficult.
A gathering of OPP officers who are off work and on leave after something traumatic on the job.
So I experienced like the fatalities, the child abuse, sexual assaults.
Among them, Jared Hunter, a retired OPP detective. He was on WSIB leave for the last years of his career.
I was in a dark place. But what brought me out of it was my wife and a good support system.
While he was off, the OPP topped up his benefits to about $120,000, and Hunter used to get a tax refund of about $25,000. But about 4 years ago, his refund almost dried up. On his tax forms, the OPP declared his taxable income to be about $79,000, but deducted just $9 in tax.
It doesn't make sense.
Accountant Sheldon Rakowski said he's appealed the change in some 30 cases, alleging the officer's pay hasn't been calculated correctly.
They feel that these people are off because of this big refund that they're getting. They feel they need to get rid of that refund and force these people either back to work or off the job.
The number of officers on leave has been a problem for the OPP. While current numbers aren't available, in 2020 it more than quadrupled to 353, according to Ontario's Auditor General. After an arbitration, the force introduced changes to the calculations called net average earnings, so that the pay to officers off work is not higher than it would be if they were working. The OPP said in a statement these changes were not made to negate income tax refunds, encourage members to return to work, or impact members in any way, as purported. We understand the CRA is in the process of reviewing or has reviewed the calculations. To date, there has been no direction to amend or eliminate either the calculation or reported salary. In June, the CRA sided with the OPP's calculations in one of Rakowski's cases. The officers say the changes have affected their pensions too and their properties.
We weren't able to get a fixed mortgage this time around because of the inconsistencies with the employment letter.
Rakowski promising to keep pushing, believing upwards of $10 million a year is at stake. John Woodward, CTV News.
Aurora's mayor says Frank Stronach's name will be removed from a recreational center in the town after the billionaire businessman was found guilty of sexual assault last week. The town working on finding a new naming rights holder for the Stronach Aurora Recreation Complex. It comes as other jurisdictions have made similar moves. This week, a Newmarket Town Council voted to change the name of Frank Stronach Park to Veterans Park. Last Friday, Stronach was found guilty of sexual assault and indecent assault. He's set to be sentenced in September. In council this week, the town of Huntsville called on the province to review its Muskoka watershed plan.
After all of the studies and all of the money that has been spent on analysis of what causes the flooding and doing all of that, there's been silence.
The town says the Ministry of Natural Resources most recently reviewed the plan in 2024, and there's even more urgency this time round after the difficult flooding season that was. The motion passed in this week's council meeting, agreeing on a 6-step request to the province, which includes calling on 2 of its disaster assistance programs and changing eligibility criteria to include seasonal properties. The town of Huntsville and Lake of Bays Township have officially confirmed the end of their shared fire services agreement. In a notice today, the municipalities say each department will begin operating independently on Wednesday. The decision discussed by Lake of Bays Council last summer ends the 14-year partnership. The departments say the change will affect internal administrative processes, but will not change response levels or the way you get in touch with them. From emergency calls to adoptions, the work never stops for any animal rescue, and one group close to home could soon be forced to shut its doors if it can't clear a mounting debt.
We have very high vet bills. We've had some unexpected, really big illnesses. It sort of stemmed back from about 2 years ago when we had 13 parvo puppies come in. And unfortunately cost us about $30,000 to treat them. They all survived, but it was a hefty bill for us. So we've been sort of chipping away at that cost, in addition to taking more dogs in that were unexpectedly have injuries or heartworm positive.
What started as a $65,000 financial shortfall has already forced Lost Boys Rescue in Barrie to pause new intakes. The volunteer-run organization supports dogs and cats with a focus on animals from Northern Ontario.
The odds are against us. The odds are against the dogs in Northern Canada as well. There's hundreds of thousands of dogs that just tear at me every single day. I get asked every day to take dogs in from the reserves up north, and this is the first time I've actually had to say I can't do it.
With many remote places, veterinary care simply doesn't exist, leaving animals to breed unchecked and without access to basic medical treatment. The Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre highlighting a year of growth in its latest annual report and a new leadership taking the helm. It saw more than 538,000 patient visits last year, including a rise in emergency department volume. RVH also completed more than 16,000 surgeries, launching the region's first surgical robotics program. The report comes as Kimberly Matheson takes over as board chair. This milestone building on what they say is a transformation of a regional academic health sciences centre. A major boost for local health care. Collingwood General and Marine Hospital unveiled 2 mammography machines today. These upgrades come after months of renovation to the hospital's diagnostic imaging department. The new equipment doubles screening capacity and introduces more advanced diagnostic technology beyond traditional imaging. The expansion possible thanks to strong community support, helping improve access to breast cancer screening in the region. Still to come in, a tribute to four-legged friends, a colorful new way to bring comfort and connection to those who've lost pets in Gravenhurst. Plus, after more than 50 years from its opening, this local staple is going to look very different. We'll take you there for a first look. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Presented by Paul Sadlin Motors.
Music, it's a small community, so when something's really good, we all want to be part of it.
We have an amazing music scene here. Having people come together in community, listen to some amazing local artists, brings the downtown alive. It brings our city alive.
Troubadour Festival 2026 is going to be off the hook. We've got the Watchmen, Bahamas, going to be great.
The Gravenhurst Lions Club has come up with a new project to honor your pets, adding a functional splash of color to the community.
The bridge that thinks of animals and caring for animals and thinking of those animals that are up in doggy heaven. So it's all good.
This rainbow pet memorial bridge at the Gravenhurst Wharf has a sincere message too. For $50, you can purchase a tag for your favorite pet to be remembered forever. A partnership with the town, the idea to salute the love of pets of every kind.
It's amazing. I mean, guide dogs are amazing. They're your eyes. They steal your heart like any pet does. And over the years, I've had guides since 1988, and I just wanted to be able to honor them and just do something for them because they sure as heck did a lot for me.
All the proceeds raised from the Rainbow Bridge pet tags will go to community projects. After 3 years of construction, the Brechin Legion is celebrating the completion of those renovations.
We wanted to acknowledge the people that have donated money and have helped us in other ways. And this tree signifies all the people that donated their time, their money, and this tree will just continue to grow as we progress along.
Built originally in 1972, the facility is home to a banquet hall and a kitchen used for both public and private events. The renovations include an elevator and 2 fully accessible bathrooms for people visiting.
Without the support of the community and our members and the executive, this building is used a lot. by a number of organizations. It's the hub of Brecken, and without this building, the community would suffer intensively. It's been around here for over 50 years, and that's basically that was the other issue. There hadn't been much renos done in 50 years.
The Brecken Legion is used every day of the week for activities like darts, light weightlifting, meetings, cards, and even dance classes. A new chapter for the anchor of many community event in Bracebridge.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's a nice improvement on the old one, which needed a lot of repairs. It's beautiful.
The first notes from the newly rebuilt band shell in Memorial Park, a community legacy project commemorating Bracebridge's 150th anniversary. Reimagining the band shell, the longtime center of the town life, serving the community for 120 years, and now people in the town hope many, many more.
Being born and raised in Bracebridge, this was a really cool opportunity to be a part of something that meant a lot to a lot of people. You know, in the heart of the town, whether it's in the summer with the bands playing or in the winter with the ice skating rink around it, it's a pretty magical experience.
This band shell has always been a meeting place. It's been a place to celebrate successes, victories. It's been a place to celebrate events. It's been a place to come together. It's been a place to express your artistic nature with music and cultural events. So really is the hub of the community in many respects.
And to show off the new band shell, they're holding a concert series in the park all summer long. For information on all our local events, along with other stories, you can go to our website. That's where you can watch all our news live online and find our local stories and breaking news as it happens. Just head to ctvnews.ca/Barrie or scan that QR code you see on your screen right now. Still to come, York Region upgrading 911 service. Details on what those changes might mean coming up. But first, let's check in with Casey outside.
A little rain starting to come down as we speak, but ladies and gentlemen, it's time to check out the campfire conditions, and let's do that right now. And as we take a look at this in Simcoe County, the fire danger remains high still, just west of Barrie, that is. And the rating across Muskoka is moderate. Campfire conditions brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers. Call 1-800-JUSTICE, and Darius, our weather watcher, yeah, he says next week, ladies and gentlemen, we could be warmer than Honolulu, Hawaii, where Volcano Kilauea is. Well done. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Hey, it's Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And next week on the show, we're giving away tickets to see Asia at Casino-Rama.
So make sure you're listening Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 10 for your chance to win.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
This week on Picture This, we're celebrating Dad. Show us photos of your father or the father figure in your life. Snap a pic and send it in to Picture This at ctv.ca for a chance to be featured. Now, Casey, normally we have to come up with something to talk about for these, but it sounds to me like you got plenty to talk about out there already. What's going on?
Indeed we do. It's well put, actually. The rain's starting to come down. We've heard thunder throughout the newscast, and it looks like, this storm is making its way towards us, and I want you to take a look at the watches and warnings boards right now, ladies and gentlemen. As far as our region goes, yes, it is in the far western part of our region. We're looking at a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, and this means at this point wind gusts, as per Environment Canada, wind gusts to 90 km, 2D-size hail possible, and intense rainfall. Now that is a watch right now. It could turn into a warning. We're anticipating it moving northeast right across our region. So let's get to it as far as the rest of the forecast goes. And this is the temperature As we speak, we're looking at 19 degrees in the Sunshine City of Orillia, 20 still in Parry Sound, 16 in Collingwood, and call it 18 degrees in beautiful Alliston, Ontario. The almanac for today, 21 and 12 degrees. That's the high, that's the low. We're looking at a record set back in 1952. I thought this was particularly humorous. The #1 song on the hit parade in 1952 on this day when the temperature was 35 degrees, Kiss of Fire by Georgia Gibbs, fittingly enough. 3.4 degrees in 2004 for record low. Sun rises tomorrow, 5:36. Sets at 9:07, 15 hours and 31 minutes of daylight. Ooh, that is the forecast radar, ladies and gentlemen. Some shower activity, some thunder shower activity, and then things start to clear. I know everybody likes to hear that. Let's get right to it. Southern tip of Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe. Overnight temperatures settling in 14 degrees. Showers, possible thunderstorms this evening, off and on, settling as the evening progresses. For tomorrow, 21, 23. Here comes the humidity. Yeah, 28 degrees tomorrow under mainly cloudy skies is what we're anticipating for tomorrow. To Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, 14 and 15 degrees. Rain, thunderstorms expected this evening, intermittent across the pretty much across our entire region. 22, 26 degrees for tomorrow, feeling like 31 with the humidex. Cloudy skies for the most part, a smidget of sunshine if we're lucky. Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Haliburton, 14 degrees overnight. Some shower activity, possible thunderstorms, yes, right across our region. And then for tomorrow, 22 and 23 degrees, mainly cloudy skies, feeling like 28 degrees with the humidex. You could see an early morning shower and or a thunderstorm in the Haliburton region. That's tonight and tomorrow. Now time for the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. We're starting this evening in Simcoe County, and have a look right now. This is our weekend. Early look at the weekend, 25 degrees, fair skies on Saturday with humidex feeling closer to 30, well into the 30s on Sunday, nothing but sunshine. 27 it says on the board, 29 on Monday, very sticky, and 30 degrees. Slight chance of a shower under fair skies for Tuesday. This is the 5-day extended forecast, York Region. Have a look. And at this point, Saturday and Sunday look gorgeous. 25, 27, true summer like humidity settling in, I might add. Monday arrives warmer still, 29, 31 on Tuesday, and a slight chance of a shower. You might want that because it's going to be very sticky, feeling closer to 35 degrees. 5-day extended forecast, Muskoka, Parry Sound, Haliburton. Have a look. Slight chance of a shower on the Saturday, ever so slight, and it would be early morning. 26 degrees. Looks like Sunday has beautiful fair skies, lovely, lovely, lovely. And then Monday arrives, 28 degrees, slight chance of a passing shower, and again, slight chance of a passing shower on the Tuesday under fair skies. So we're getting hot on land. How about on water? That's the forecast on land. This is the Marine Report, brought to you by Suzuki Marine. North Lake Huron, South Lake Huron. I'm going to point out right now, we have a squall warning on South Lake Huron. What does that mean for this evening? It means higher than normal winds, 35 knots possible, water spouts possible, visibility challenges. Yeah, the winds otherwise we're looking at for tomorrow, 10 knots out of the northwest, and waves anywhere from ½ meter or less, or 1 meter or less at South Lake Huron. Let's talk about Georgian Bay and Lake Simcoe for tomorrow. We're looking at winds out of the northwest, 10 knots for both, and waves ½ meter or less for both Georgian Bay and Lake Simcoe. That is the land and water forecast, and the rain continues to come down right now, Jack. So maybe I should go check your windows. Did you leave your car windows up, Jack? I better go have a look.
Thank you, Casey. I really appreciate that. Families across the region, across the province, will begin to take their summer break with some free fishing this year, starting Saturday and lasting until July 5th. Anyone in Ontario, residents of Ontario, can fish for free across the province without buying a fishing license or an outdoor card. All conservation license, catch and size limits, as well as other regulations, still do apply. When every second counts, getting the right information quickly can save lives. York Region and York Regional Police have launched the next generation of 911 service, a major upgrade to its emergency communications system. The new digital network improves location accuracy and helps operators get critical information faster. The changes aren't going to affect you when you dial 911. The new system means more calls can be answered, though, and that will mean more lives can be saved across the region. Still to come, if you're in the emergency room this weekend, well, you may be there for a while. Wait times across the country continue to climb, but the delays might not be starting there. Plus, we'll recap tonight's top stories. You're watching CTV News Barrie. Recapping our top stories, it's the first big weekend of summer, and Muskoka tourism is expecting a strong season. With the Canadian dollar down and the price of gas up, many people looking a little bit closer to home for summer vacation this year, and that can translate into big numbers. Navjot Singh has pleaded guilty to possessing a stolen car after a knife-point attack carjacking in Innisfil 4 years ago. The court accepted that another man committed the violent attack against a 77-year-old woman. Singh, the accomplice, will spend 6 months in jail. And more details today after a couple was found dead in Barrie's North End on Saturday. Bodies discovered in a home. A 44-year-old woman murdered a 45-year-old man, shot himself in what police say is a case of intimate partner violence. Now here's something you might not have thought about as another school year ends. But the end of classes also means the end of school food programs, and Food Banks Canada says that means 1 in 3 of their clients, well, they're children, representing more than 712,000 visits to Canadian food banks each month. In the past 6 years, the amount of children who rely on food banks has nearly doubled. It's estimated 1 in 4 children in Canada live in food insecure homes. The report also found roughly 400,000 Canadian kids also rely on those national school programs every single day. Food banks and Canada's Erin Filey-Renecki says those programs put more pressure on parents when they end, who are already struggling to make ends meet.
There are all these amazing programs across the country that help make sure that families have a place or have confidence that their kids are going to have enough food that day. And over the summer months, those programs shut down. And so, you know, what we see at local food banks is an increased demand. What we see are kids that are just at risk and parents that are under a lot of pressure to try to make sure that their kids can get 3 square meals a day.
Filey-Renecki says she's pleased governments are starting to tackle the issue, but says more needs to be done to beat poverty and food insecurity. Canadians are waiting hours and sometimes days in emergency rooms across our country, but a new report suggests the problem doesn't actually start in the ER. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on what's really driving the delays.
Long waits in Canada's emergency rooms have become an all too familiar experience, and Brenda Trottier knows that firsthand.
It was frustrating.
She says her daughter went to a Calgary emergency room with abdominal pain last month and did not leave until more than 10 hours later.
Why wasn't her pain addressed? Why did we wait so long?
A new report by the Canadian Institute for Health Information found 1 in 10 patients spent more than 14 hours in the ER in 2024-2025. For those needing to be admitted, 1 in 10 spent more than 2 days in the ER waiting for a bed. This doctor says it's a long-standing issue that keeps getting worse.
We've been calling a state of emergency and state of crisis.
The report suggests the root of the problem often lies far beyond the emergency department. Shortages of hospital beds, long-term care spaces, and community supports are creating a bottleneck through the healthcare system.
Our government has been neglecting on some of the capacity and workforce building.
The consequences of overcrowded emergency departments have at times been tragic. In Alberta, 44-year-old Prashant Srikumar died in an Edmonton ER. And in Ontario, 16-year-old Finlay van der Werken died in an Oakville ER. Both waited 8 hours to see a doctor. The Alberta government says population growth, rising demand, and increasing patient complexity are contributing to longer waits.
I think the feds have to get involved now and actually start to say, hey, we need to look at this in a national solution.
Trottier is thankful her daughter's condition wasn't more serious and understands medical staff are under strain, but says enough is enough.
It is broken.
And the government needs to make changes. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
In business news, outgoing Apple CEO Tim Cook recently mentioned price hikes were on the way for several of the company's products. Today, the tech giant revealed the extent of those increases. Apple said it can no longer shield customers, in their words, from soaring memory cost and storage chip costs. Those prices have been sent up while the AI industry pushes to build more data centers. The Canadian customers will pay $494 for the entry-grade MacBook Neo laptop. That's $150 more. Joined by price hikes for a range of Macs, iPads, and other products, today's announcement doesn't affect Apple's main cash cow. That's the iPhone. The TSX was up 114 points, the Dow up 71, NASDAQ down 118, and commodities, oil up, closing at $71.92 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $4,074 an ounce, and our dollar was up, ending the day at 70.40 cents U.S. The first place Barrie Baycats are back in action tonight as they host the Brantford Red Sox.
Things just escaping them. As that one sent high and deep. It's got some distance all the way back, and that one is gone.
The Baycats are coming off a high-scoring 18-7 win on Father's Day against the Kitchener Panthers. They've won 5 of their last 6. Tonight's first pitch with the Red Sox is scheduled for just after 7:30. As of right now, the game has not been postponed by the weather. The Blue Jays will look to snap a 2-game losing skid when they begin a 4-game series with the Texas Rangers this evening.
This is hit in the air to right field and hit pretty well. Smith is back at the wall, jumps in, it's gone.
The Jays tied the game at 1 with a solo homer in the first inning. The game stayed tied until the 8th when reliever Jeff Hoffman threw the ball away on a pickoff attempt, allowing the Houston Astros to score. The Jays would end up losing the game 3-1. Kevin Gossman will start against Texas tonight. First pitch at 7:07 at the Rogers Center. On the ice, the Barrie Colts traded a key role player from their playoff run this spring. The team trading forward Jaden Newton to the Ottawa 67s for a 2021 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. Newton has spent the past 3 seasons with the Colts. He totaled 3 goals and 7 points in his last 7 playoff games this spring. The Toronto Maple Leafs formally introduced a new head coach, Jim Hiller, to the media this afternoon. The 57-year-old, the 41st coach in franchise history, posed with the Leafs jersey. He served as assistant with the team 2015, 2016, and 2018. Hiller most recently was the head coach of the Los Angeles Kings from 2023 to this past season.
It just feels like there's a lot of positive momentum, and I know I mentioned it, but it just really struck me driving into the city. We didn't land until about 11:30 at night, so the Gardner wasn't busy. So we got out there, and just driving into the city and the lights, and just this is hockey town. We know that, or I shouldn't say it like that. This is hockey, one of the meccas of hockey, I guess maybe is a better way to say it.
We conducted a thorough and comprehensive search looking for the right leader and the right partner for our hockey operations group. Throughout that process, Jim consistently distinguished himself with his experience, his leadership, his ability to communicate and connect with people, and his vision for what it takes to build a winning team.
The Leafs have the first overall pick in tomorrow's NHL entry draft. The team is expected to choose forward Gavin McKenna. Last time the Leafs selected first overall was 2016 when they drafted current captain Austin Matthews. The Raptors have made their pick in the second round of the NBA draft in Brooklyn.
Bradley will set from 3.
Toronto selected Jaden Bradley, 50th overall. The 6'3" guard completed his senior year with the Arizona Wildcats. The 22-year-old averaged more than 13 points over 39 games. Adding a depth at guard was one of the Raptors' needs heading into the draft. To FIFA, Canada's men have officially advanced further in the World Cup than they ever have before. There was a small disappointment. Yesterday's loss means the match will be held in Los Angeles instead of Vancouver. One of the team's leaders, Alistair Johnson, says that won't be an issue for them, though.
We're playing in LA. We're not playing in, just telling these guys, we're not playing on Mars or Pluto, you know what I mean? Like, I do expect quite a few Canadians to be down there. It's a World Cup knockout game. It's the biggest game in our men's program's history, so I'm still expecting it to be a pretty big spectacle, which is something that, again, we're excited by. Look, again, we would have loved to stay in Vancouver. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, if you told me a month ago that, we're going to have qualified second place in your group, guaranteed into the knockouts, and not sitting here in third place having to wait on results, or in fourth place, obviously knowing that you're done, I think I would have shaken your hand for that.
An unexpected twist at the tournament, South Africa qualifying as Canada's round of 32 opponent. The knockout stage match kicks off Sunday afternoon. Well, we now know who will hit the stage as the 2026 Canadian Country Music Awards in Saskatoon.
And I believe with the deepest part of my soul, I wouldn't be a man without a woman.
That's right, Dean Brody set to release his 10th studio album called The 10th Album. He'll hit the stage along with Saskatchewan's own Hunter Brothers, Kaisley Killick, and Jess Moskaluk. The James Barker Band, Wreck Laws, and Owen Riegling will also perform. The CCMAs are happening at SaskTel Centre in Saskatoon, September 19th. They'll air exclusively on CTV and Crave. David Clayton Thomas, the voice of the Canadian band Blood, Sweat and Tears, has died. The Grammy Award winner died Tuesday evening at St. Michael's Hospital. He sold more than 40 million records over the course of his career, which began in the early 60s. A memorial concert celebrating his life in music is set to be held at a later date, with proceeds benefiting Peace Builders Canada. David Clayton Thomas was 84 years old. Still to come, reconciliation in food. One Southern Ontario hospital partnering with a local First Nation to serve up Indigenous dishes. You're watching CTV News Barrie. Taking a look at your primetime lineup for tonight. At 8, 8:30 and 9, New Girl, followed by an episode of New Girl at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, Criminal Minds and CTV News at 11. One Southern Ontario hospital has partnered with local First Nations to serve up Indigenous dishes. Here's CTV's Alexandra Holk. She has more on the menu designed to support care.
Three Sisters soup, wild rice with mixed berries, and a breaded perch with green beans and sunflower seeds. A meal that carries a deep meaning for Chef Rick Powless.
When you look at that food, we recognize it. It's authentic as possible, so we know it's our food.
Powless hails from the Six Nations of the Grand River. In January 2025, he partnered with Brantford General Hospital to bring Indigenous cuisine to those receiving care. A year and a half later, his recipes are rolling out hospital-wide.
Now our people in the hospitals are going to have this food, this comfort food.
The hospital says having Indigenous food and drinks on the menu offers options for non-Indigenous patients to try something new and for Indigenous patients who want to feel closer to home.
When that happens, they warm up. It heals the mind, the body, and the spirit. When that happens, they heal faster and we can get them home again.
The hospital sees more than 4,000 First Nations, Inuit, and Métis patients every year. Of those, around 80% come from Six Nations.
It was very important for us to be able to provide culturally appropriate meals to enable their health and well-being and recovery to be much better than it would have been otherwise.
For now, menu items are limited, but the hospital plans to expand its options in the fall and offer a rotation of dishes.
It's not going to be a flood right away. It's not going to be a full menu or it's all Indigenous. It's going to be a mixture, a blend. And I think that's the best way to do it, to be respectful of the food and the patients.
Giving patients a taste of comfort in a place often seen as uncomfortable.
Really do.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Brantford.
Time now for our Get Up and Go case.
Get up and go. Let's get to it in just a moment. I want to tell you that severe thunderstorm watch continues in the southwest part of our province, making its way towards us, so we'll keep our eye on that. Let's talk about first thing tomorrow morning. It looks like at this point it should be, as far as the thunderstorm activity, relatively clear. We're looking at cloud cover still, lingering clouds in both Barrie, Newmarket, and of course in Gravenhurst. 15 degrees pretty much right across the board. So have yourself a fantastic evening. Back inside Jack.
That's our newscast for tonight. I'll be back on the desk at 11 o'clock. I'm Jack Morris. Have a good night.